Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and welcome to my channel. This is the first video that I'm uploading, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I wanted to take the opportunity to give you guys a little bit of a rundown on the type of videos that I'll be posting and some of the things that I like to talk about. So really the main areas that I wanted to talk about on this channel were lifestyle. I really want to discuss some hints and tips for some time-saving ideas. If you're a busy mum like me that works full-time, has a few kids, how you can save some time in your day-to-day life. The other thing I really wanted to post about and talk about was beauty related products. I absolutely adore makeup. I love trying new products. I love trying new skincare regimes. Pretty much anything beauty related I'm really interested and I would love to share and talk about. And the final thing that I really want to talk about is my fitness and weight loss journey. So I've recently started a diet called the Keto diet, and I really want to document that and share with you guys my success and basically what I'm doing. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in, please keep watching. So the first video that I wanted to post, I really wanted it to be about the keto diet, and I think it's really important to mention that before I get into this, that I'm not a medical professional, I don't have any medical background, and that all of the opinions are my own personal opinions, and it's been my own personal journey. So if this is something that you're interested in doing for yourself, I'd really recommend going and speaking to a doctor so that they're able to best advise you pretty much. So for those of you that don't know, the keto diet is a diet that is about restricting the amount of carbohydrates that you have on a day-to-day basis. And that basically means that you will be put into a state of ketosis. And at a higher level, that basically means that your body will start to use fat to fuel your body and your energy, as opposed to carbohydrates, which is what it would have done previously. Now, I tried the keto diet a few months ago, and I did something that is called lazy keto. So what lazy keto meant to me was that I basically sat at home and I ate lots of cheese, lots of salami, lots of protein. And whilst I had a little bit of success early on in the first couple of weeks, as the weeks passed, I started to put weight back on. I wasn't feeling energized, or I just wasn't feeling that great, and it just really didn't work for me. So the main difference is that I've done this time around is I did a lot more research, and I also wrote a list of what was important to me and what some of my goals were. And one of the things that was really important to me this time around is that I had an online community that was able to, an online community that I was basically able to connect with and share my journey and also get advice from as well. I'm sure lots of people out there can relate that when you jump on the scales and you've been super good for a week and it doesn't move, it's really disheartening. So I thought having an online community, somewhere that I could A, be accountable, and B, share and get the guidance and support would be really important. And I was actually really lucky to discover that there was a free Facebook group, and it was called 100 Days of Keto. And that was everything that I was looking for. It was the online community, lots of like-minded people, and to my surprise, they actually ran a challenge, which was 100 Days of Keto, which, as the name suggests, that everyone stays strict keto for 100 days, and that everyone supports themselves there. And the people that run the page are fantastic. They provide lots of free templates so that you can track each day that you've been strict on keto, and a lot of other fact sheets as well. So I highly recommend it, and I'll put it down in the description. Bar. So my first week of keto, I was super good. I went and bought some foods on the weekend, so that it would prepare me for the week. I'm very big on food preparation. As I mentioned before, I'm a busy mom, 2 kids, and I work full time. So food preparation for me is key. And the first week that I was on keto, I actually managed to lose 2.3 kilos, which for everyone out there that does it in pounds, that's around about 5 pounds. Everything that I'd read online did really warn me to be very careful about my expectations in the first week of weight loss. And that was because anyone that is on the keto diet would lose a significant amount of weight in the first week, and a lot of it could be in relation to water weight. So I was really, really excited. It was a great loss, but I was also trying to keep myself in check, like, you know, okay, don't expect this every week. A typical week in terms of food for me looked like I did a lot of my version of keto coffee. So what that looked like was I would get an instant coffee. I'd put a teaspoon of instant coffee. I'd then add some ice, add some water, add some almond milk. Almond milk purely for the fact to make it white, because I really didn't like the taste of almond milk. And then I'd add a little bit of cream. And the reason why I added the cream was because I struggle personally to get my fat intake correct for the day, and it's really important that you get fat in so that you stay fuller for longer, and you're not likely to then turn to carbohydrates. Another really great source of fat would be avocado, but I don't like avocado. However, I am really trying to incorporate avocado as part of my diet, and later on in the week, when I was actually home on the weekend, I managed to eat avocado mashed up with some lime juice and pepper with an egg, and that was fine. But avocado is definitely a great source of fat, and it should be a go-to for anyone that's thinking about doing the keto diet. The other thing that I did for the first week of keto was that I prepared all of my meals in advance. So we basically just had a protein and vegetables each night for dinner, because it was nice and simple and easy. And during the week I made packed lunches. So I made ham and egg salad. Absolutely love ham and egg salad. And I made sure that I got a full fat whole milk, whole cream mayonnaise, so that I could look at getting my fat intake up. And also in my lunch I put a handful of nuts and a few raspberries. It's really important to weigh your nuts and your raspberries, or if you don't want to weigh it, have an idea of how many you're putting in there, because you could undo all of your good work just by eating too many nuts and raspberries, and you think that you're doing the right thing. So that was my first week. I was really happy with my weight loss. I was really happy with how I was eating. So then we went on to the next week. So the main changes in the next week were the changes to the dinners. So I went online and had a look at what I could make on the weekend that I could make in bulk. And one of the things that came up was something called zucchini ravioli, which was an absolute lifesaver, because I was able to make a large tray of it. And then I could cook it up and freeze it, so that when the kids had sport during the week, I could pull it out and just microwave it. And that was really good. It was really yummy. But one of the things that we did find in the second week was after dinner, I was still really hungry. So I was tending to reach for something else. So midweek, I went out and got some low carb Atkins protein bars. I'll link them just down in the description bar. They were so yummy, but you need to be careful, because if you're like me and you get a little bit of a taste for something sweet, that could potentially be a trigger to want to have something else. So if that's you, and you can be disciplined, have one. If you can't, just avoid them completely. One of the things that I was really starting to notice in week 2 of the keto diet was the mental clarity. So I get up pretty early and drive into work each day, and I'm busy in the morning, and normally I'm really, really tired. But as we got into the middle of week 2, I was getting up, I was a lot more awake, I had a lot more energy, and I was just feeling better. I was just feeling like my brain was clear, which is very bizarre. So that was really good, and I was really starting to see some other benefits as opposed to just the scale. So I was really, really enjoying that. And I wasn't craving bread and pasta as much as I thought I would be. And it also really helped that the kids weren't eating as much pasta as we normally would as well. So at the end of week 2, I jumped on the scales, and I was super surprised when I'd lost 1.5 kilos. And for those of you that do pounds out there, that's about 3 pounds. I'd kind of set myself up to think that I was gonna lose under a kilo, because I'd had such a good result the previous week. So I was really happy to see that the weight was dropping. Had been really strict on the keto diet, and that was really good. So then the weekend of the second week, I wanted to incorporate some additional foods into my diet and make sure that I was getting a bit more of a variety of foods, because my foods had been very plain. The other thing that I have forgot to mention is that throughout, from the start to now, which I'm on week 5, is that I personally have been checking that I'm in ketosis, and how I check that is through something called a Keto Health Breath Care, and it looks like this. And basically you just turn the button on and it counts down, and then when the countdown's finished, it will tell you to blow on it, and you blow into it and it will tell you your reading of how many ketones you've got in your breath. This was so good. So before I got this, I used the little they're basically like little pregnancy tests. You just you pee on them, and you that tells you, it gives you a color reading of whether you've got ketones in your urine. That was really messy, and because it didn't give you a number, you didn't know if you'd had a good day or a bad day. The shade was too hard to kind of read. So when I moved and got the electronic breath meter, I was able to actually get a number. So then I was able to understand, okay, if I have this food, then this is going to be the outcome. And honestly, having that was kind of like stopped me from cheating, stopped me from reaching for the, oh, it's only one piece of bread, because I knew one piece of bread was like 20 odd carbs, and that was my whole carbs for the day. So that was super duper helpful. So going into week 3, there was a couple of things that I wanted to pick up on the weekend that I'd had researched, a couple of things that people had suggested on the 100 Days of Keto, and also I started to follow a lot more people on Instagram that were doing the keto lifestyle. I'll link in the description box a couple of people that I personally follow that I find really motivating and helpful. One of those people recommended collagen peptides and something called MCT oil, and how they had it was in their coffee. So that weekend I went and picked up some MCT oil, which is basically meant to keep you fuller for longer, and it's also got some other added benefits, which I'll put in the description box because I don't have it in front of me right now. And the collagen's meant to be good for hair, skin and nails, and it's also meant to help with the staying into ketosis. So I went and picked those 2 products up, and my plan was to start using them in the morning in my keto coffee so I could have them straight up. The other thing that I did was it was getting a little bit colder, and I'd kind of had enough of salad. So I searched online for a warm lunchbox prep type thing, and I came across a spicy chicken with cauliflower mash with green beans. And the great thing about this particular recipe was it didn't have avocado. And it also had something in it called ghee. So ghee is a really good type of additive if you need to add fat into your diet. So my understanding is pretty much lard. So with the cauliflower mash, I was able to add the ghee, which meant that my macros, so my carbohydrates, my protein, my fat, my protein and my carbohydrates were all well balanced, which was fantastic. So that ended up being a really good lunchtime preparation, and I did actually video that and put it together in a short video that's like 1.5 minutes, so I might upload that as well. At the end, towards the end of week 3, I was feeling like a little bit demotivated. I didn't feel as flat or less bloated as I had in weeks 1 and 2, and I was worried that my weight loss wasn't going to be as good. So one of the things that the 100 Days of Keto community group had recommended doing, which I forgot to do, was take your measurements. Don't just rely on the scales. And because I forgot to take my measurements, I was a little bit like, oh, a bit bummed out. What am I going to do? So I actually did take before photos. So on week 3, I thought, you know what, I'm actually going to take some progress shot updates to see if I can see any progress in the photos myself. I was blown away. I couldn't believe the progress that I had seen. I actually put the photos up here. Yeah, so like the back photo is what got me the most. Like no one likes taking back photos. I absolutely hated my back rolls, and I've still got a long way to go, but I'm so happy in the progress that I've made in just 3 weeks. And you know, the other photos, I'm just overall really happy. So I found that really motivating, and it also made me realize that I kind of need to think of other ways to track my progress and talk about my journey, as opposed to just this is how much weight I lost on the scales. So that was really encouraging. So going into week 4, I was in a good headspace. I hadn't broken the keto diet the whole time. I was blowing on the keto breath reader daily and getting really great results. And I also haven't mentioned is that I actually do go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. And my gym routine usually consists of uphill cardio on the treadmill. I find that is really good, and it burns a lot of calories. And I also will do 2 to 3 classes a week. So I was still continuing with that, but week 4 came around and I was super duper tired. Now, I don't know if it's because it's going to be that time of the month or what it is, but I really struggled in week 4. I found that I was a lot hungrier, and just, it was, you know, it's been 4 weeks in and I'm like, you know, is it really worth it? But I have managed to get through week 4. I jumped on the scales, and it's been the least amount of weight I've lost. So in week 4, I lost 400 grams, which is about a pound. I was kind of expecting that though, given, you know, the timing. However, that hasn't happened. And I'm in week 5 now, so we'll wait and see what happens there. But to summarize the whole month, from my starting weight to my weight now, I've lost 5.9 kilos in 4 weeks, which is just crazy. And that's about 13 pounds. So given the weight loss and how I feel, it's definitely something that I'm going to continue with. And if you're interested in hearing about my updates, or it's something that you want me to talk more about, please leave some comments in the description box of what you'd like to see. But overall, I'm really happy. I do have a parcel down at my feet that has some of my favorite keto products. So I am thinking about maybe doing a quick unboxing so I can show you guys how I have survived over the last 4 weeks without bread, but there is some bread in there. And just also some other hints and tips and ideas that I've got. As I mentioned, if it's something that you're interested in, please hit that subscription box, please like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.